Hey everyone, Vicki with Chalk with Vicki. Do not give up. I chose this transfer. It is a little bit more advanced with all the layers, and I wanted to be able to show you some of my tips and tricks and some of the challenges I've faced with this one. This Do Not Give Up transfer is part of our Club Couture. For designers, if you've signed up, or for designers or potential designers, these are the transfers that are shipped to you each month as part of your designership. So this is one I was waiting for. I love these next couple months. Do Not Give Up is October. We've got the square welcome wreath, and then we've got the home sign, and then of course coming in January we have Buy the Shoes. So some cute transfers to look forward to. I was waiting for this Do Not Give Up transfer because I wanted to try it. I will tell you, it definitely looked a little bit challenging because I saw all the different layers. So I did try it a couple times and I incorporated a couple of my techniques that I've used in other videos where if the chalk gets a little dry, I mist it. Sometimes it works on larger surfaces. Sometimes it can get a little tricky. But I've seen a couple designers posting on the complexity of this and some of the chalk pulling up. So I wanted to do this one, and I purposely left in some of my mistakes because I want, if you're a new designer or you're thinking, I may want to join Chalk Couture, there are some challenges. It's not always the easiest, but for the most part, I would say 95% of the time, it's super easy, right? You put the transfer down, put your chalk paste down, one and done. So just want to highlight some of the challenges you might face. Again, I purposefully left in some of my mistakes so you can see. Don't worry, if you make a mistake, you can either erase it just with water and a paper towel or a scrubber, or you can go over it. So low pressure, but super fun and very satisfying when you walk away and you can look at your amazing project. Right here I'm trying to figure out, I was getting creative. Do I want to do it horizontal or vertical? I chose to go with the vertical, similar to the picture, just because it fit a little bit better on the board and base that I'm using. This is our board and base. It's one of our smallest boards. I will say it's super small, but it's super versatile. I do a lot of reversible items, usually all of my 10-inch, 18-inch, as well as my board and base. I always encourage others to do the flip side. It's great for something you can post or put in your kitchen or living room and have something year round. But then on some of the board and base I put like a happy birthday message, so you can make sure that when somebody comes down on their special day that they've got a little happy birthday message waiting for them. All right, here I am just positioning the top part. I did not cut the transfer. I wanted to keep it whole, so I'm just positioning it. I'm going to be very careful about making sure I don't go over into that G part that's on the base or the board part. If I do, again, just a little bit of water and a paper towel will come right off. Let's get started. After you've used the heat gun or the blow dryer to dry your chalk paste, just make sure the board's nice and cool. This will help with your layering, and it'll help the chalk. I don't know, exactly how it happens, but you just want to make sure it's nice and cool before you start applying that chalk again. You'll also want to make sure that your chalk, you'll see I mixed my my own color here. Again, chalk with chalk, ink with ink. This is white and one of the chocolate pastes. You just want to make sure it's the right consistency. Again, that consistency is going to help with the success of your layering. And as I mentioned in the very beginning, I left some of my mistakes in. So you'll see a little bit later on how consistency kind of, it created some issues with that second layer. One of the really cool new things that I noticed on this transfer was they've put these little indicators as part of the transfer. So there's like a little triangle at the top on each side, and it helps you line up your layer. Similar to the new script font transfer, where you line up the C's and reverse C's to make circles for alignment. This helps you get it right where it needs to be. So here's where we start that second layer. And I will tell you, when I started doing this, my intention was similar to how I did the color variation in the do not give up part, where I put a single layer down and then I add a little bit of color to almost, just give it a hint of that pink. Now I'll tell you, my gut, when I did this, I felt like it was just a little thick. So almost going into it, I knew that it wasn't going to be the right consistency, but I still did it just to see. Sometimes I missed, and you'll see I'm going to miss this to add a little bit more texture to it. Just peeking at it, I knew I was going to need to add a little bit more so it's less dry. And again, this sometimes works in smaller areas, smaller surface of the chalk. I think because this was so large, it was not successful. Again, this normally works, and I figured I would go for it. Again, I like to experiment. This is a nice, quick, easy cheat. So you can add, again, a subtle color or change the color just a little bit. But you can even see when I'm squeegeeing a little bit, it's I've added a little too much water, so it made it kind of runny. So again, you're really aiming for just the right consistency, and go with your gut. Like if you dip that squeegee into that paste and you feel, gosh, this feels just a little bit too thick, again, go with your gut. And you'll see over on that left-hand side, there's just a little bit of the variation that kind of came up with the silkscreen transfer. So here I had three options, right? I leave it as is, the mistake adds character, or I remove it completely. So, that's the beauty of the chalk paste. I, take a little bit of water and, remove that entire part. Of course, I'd have to start over with the donut part at least. Or my third option, I put the transfer back on, and instead of doing the layering with the colors that I will sometimes do, I actually take it and mix the pink color that I want and reapply. So that's the option that I went with. And again, making sure this next time I worked with the white and the pink and made sure that consistency was just perfect, and hopefully to not pull up from those first layers. And here comes the big reveal. Did our fix work successfully? And yes, it did. All right, here comes our third layer. Well, technically our fourth layer here, but we'll go by the regular count. Here comes our third layer. Now, you can do this in multi steps as well. I want to tie in the blue from the Do Not Give Up, and I want to have the pink, just that darker pink, on the heart. So, and use a little bit of the white. I like to tie all of it together. So here I just, did it all in one, but again, you run that risk of it being a little bit drier and, having to go back over it. So again, do it at your comfort level. You can try it. This is the third or technically fourth level layer here. So only risk what you want to risk from a timing perspective. So again, depending on where you're at with working with the product, give it a try. It doesn't hurt to try. Again, it is a little bit riskier because you are on that third layer. So, but you can always, if it doesn't completely come up, again, put that transfer, clean it off, and add that transfer back on, and then add the colors that you need. My blue didn't come through quite like I wanted it to, so sometimes I'll use a Q-tip, or in this case I use my multi-tool just to add a little bit of the color. And the cool thing is it adds almost a little bit of texture to it too. All right, now that we've added those finishing touches, also known as sprinkles, we can clean up those little indicators, right? Those little tiny triangles that helped us align those transfers. I hope this video has been helpful. Please like and subscribe. And if there's something that you want to see, please comment, message. I would love to be able to share some of my experiences. I also love sharing the product, but I also, want to make sure people know it's okay to make mistakes. It's a very easy product. Mistakes will be made, but the great thing is that you'll have beautiful results in the end. Thanks for watching Chalk with Vicki.